Today, viewers, our topic of dialogue or discussion is going to be centered on inflations and, of course, the increment in the price of bread recently in the country called Gambia. As we have seen, we have understand that there is persistent rise in the price of goods and service in this country called Gambia, being the fact that average Gambians are unable to afford some goods that they desire to have. Some Gambians even find it very difficult to put food on the table as a result of inflations, which is the continuous and the persistent rise in the price of goods and service. Every day, day in, day out in Gambia, price of our commodities is being increased. There is no price control. As time goes on, it's going to be the survival of the fittest and the strongest. What is the Gambia government doing about this thing called inflation? What is the Gambian government put in place? What are some of the measures that the Gambian government is trying to put in place so that Gambian government can combat corruption? Nothing at all. Low income earners, teachers, nurses and doctors, whatever they earn, yet they find it very difficult to put food on the table as a result of inflation. No matter how the Gambian government increase the salaries of the civil servant, and yet without having to control or to combat inflation, that increment in their salary is null and void. A nation whose men and women are in a constant state of slumber, they will never realize their potentials. For the Gambians to realize their potentials, of course, they must wake up from this constant state of slumber. That is the reason why Gambian citizens are traveling across the Mediterranean Sea in search for greener pastures. Even some of them have to lose their lives in the Mediterranean Sea. If the price of goods and service in the Gambia is favorable, if there is no persistent rise in the price of goods and service, I believe many Gambians would love to stay in this country and struggle in this country and perhaps die in this country. But today, just take a look at it. Many of our potential young men and women are traveling to Bagwe in search of the greener pastures, and some of them will never return to this country, causing drastically decline in the labor force of our country called Gambia. These young men and women who could have stayed here in this country, engaged in road constructions, engaged in injecting knowledge to our students. They could have become nurses, doctors. But today, where are they? Many of them perish in this difficult journey called Bagwe. Why? Because there is constant and continuous rise in the price of goods and service. Gambian salary for the average Gambian is hand to mouth. Whatever you earn, of course, is going back to our stomach. There is always low savings. There is always low investment. Just take a look at the Gambia, of course. How many Gambians are saving in a large capacity? How many? Low standard of living. High rate of population growth, high dependency ratio is bad to a country, is bad to a society. The Gambian government must wake up from the slumber and curtail or combat inflation. But then, of course, no matter how we increase the salary of the civil servant, and we refuse now to curtail or to control the prices of our goods and service, that increment in the salary, yet I repeat, is null and void. The Gambian people and the Gambian government, we must put our hand on deck and wake up from this slumber. Because inflation is a disease, is a sickness to people. Inflation, very bad to our society. There is always increase in the price of our goods. Just look at bread. Now that the price of bread is being increased, and whatever is increased here in Gambia, it never decreases. That is the problem of Gambia. Look at the value of our currency now. It's drastically reducing or losing its worth. Gone are those days when the Gambian dollars was very powerful. But now just take a look at it. It is fading away. Our government must wake up from the slumber. That is why we must point, our fingers to our Gambian government. The younger ones are suffering. The old ones are suffering. Even those who are yet to be born, when they are in this country, they will suffer, of course, because we are so much indebted. It's time that we wake up from this slumber.